Chapter 10. Valentine. I'd been embarrassed or afraid to tell Brian that I was as excited to stand with him and look at the moon, for fear he thought of me as a child. This was something I never expected a man to ask me to do. I'd had them ask me for money, a kiss and a blowjob, but never to walk and look at the moon, or find a star together. Brian appeared to be sincere. I was sure I had been right about him. I never would imagine that he would want anything else, and I was glad he did. He grabbed me and kissed me, and he knew how to kiss. This was more or less new to me. I hadn't had much practice in that area. Shouldn't I have known what he wanted when I agreed to go with him? I guessed so. I wanted to be in his arms as much as he wanted me there. However, I wasn't ready to be taken by a man, and he had no way of knowing that I was a virgin. Nothing could have surprised me. I had walked out into the moonlight with him, my heart ready to explode, at first in the house when I glanced up and saw him sitting near me after I blew him off at the truck stop, and when I arrived with Sean. At first I wasn't sure who he was because I didn't like wearing my glasses, and my eyes were too sensitive for contacts. I heard his voice, and when he came near I saw that it was the man I thought and dreamed about lately. The excitement inside me, my heart beating fast, my hands sweaty, as if I was auditioning for a commercial, left me almost speechless. I didn't relax until Parker had spotted us, and came over to wonder why I'd stared at him and his husband. I didn't want anyone to know that I'd broken my glasses, and I couldn't afford to get more, so I was trying to make out images that were too far away. I had been afraid to engage in a conversation or trust Brian. Sean was closer to my age, and it was easy telling him no, but I'd been attracted to older men, and I didn't trust them or myself. Nevertheless, I was never given the opportunity to be able to date one. Sam had groomed me since I was young to be with him, and now that I looked back at all that had happened, me losing my money was a good thing because I never would have met Brian. I knew now that I'd found the man who I knew would treat me the way I'd always wanted to be treated, loving and gentle. It wasn't anything I had known in my life. I had been someone's workhorse. Do this, Val. You have to go on this commercial shoot. Even if I'd been bone tired, I had to do it, to keep the money coming in, so everyone could have a life except me. That came to an end, and like musical chairs, I was left without a chair. I knew there was someone out there for me. It was a feeling I had. I knew I'd find true love one day when I came across the man who would cherish me, and I thought I had. What convinced me was he wanted to give me something I'd never experienced before, if you didn't count jacking off in the shower to a picture of my favorite male movie star. Now I didn't have to do that. I never knew another man except for Sam, and he used me to satisfy his need to dominate me, by having me suck his cock nightly, whether I was tired or not, whether I wanted to feel him inside me or not. He'd remind me that it would hurt, and he didn't want to hurt me. Give me time to prepare you, you're only 19 and have a lifetime to experience it. Was Sam's excuse for not satisfying me, but I wanted to know how it felt to get an orgasm with a man inside me. I had given pleasure to him many times, but had never experienced what it would be like to lie in a man's arms after he'd penetrated me, and I'd orgasmed from him kissing me and telling me that he loved me. Never had that been a part of my life. Not even when I became a teen did I experience dating anyone my age. There was Sam reminding me of my position, and reminding me that one day I'd be old enough where he could make love to me. That day never came, and I was grateful to him that it didn't. As Brian and I stood near the lake and he kissed me, I was afraid to tell him that I didn't know the first thing about what a man his age wanted. All I knew how to do was to go down on my knees, and Brian didn't want that. He wanted to please me, and after that was over, there was a wave of confidence that descended over me like never before. I was free to be a man who could love another man, and have him satisfy me the way I'd envisioned. Standing in front of me after we'd managed to get ourselves together, he said, "Can I see you tomorrow?" I have to work. I know, but I don't want you to work. I raised an eyebrow, because that was all I knew how to do. What do you mean? Everyone has to work, and especially me. I need to get to New York if I expect to get the work I'm used to doing. We headed to the house, and I didn't know it was as far from the dock as it appeared, but it was. This time we didn't hold hands, we just moseyed alongside with him tickling me, with me laughing hysterically and falling on the grass, Brian leaning over me stealing kisses. We took our time getting back, because I thought we both wanted to hold on to that feeling we both had for each other. Well, I knew I had. There was something welling inside me for this man. My cock never became soft as long as I was near him. I wasn't sure how he felt about me, even as he stopped a few times to tell me how much he wanted to be with me, and to take care of me. I didn't trust myself with him, because I was overcome with lust just looking at his face and his strong body. I'd been burned all my life by men in their 40s, who were powerful in many ways, just like Brian. The only difference being, Brian was the only one that I cared about. Strolling along and stopping on occasion to talk, we saw the lights from the patio, and I came to a full stop. We don't know each other, Brian. I had a life before you, and obviously you did too. You said that you were getting a divorce. I shouldn't have told you that. And why not? I would have found out. Look around you, this is a small town, and your friend Parker would have spilled the goods sooner or later. Sean was the one who did when I mentioned your name to ask if he'd ever known a Brian. He gave me the rundown on everyone in this town except himself. I'm not going to discuss Sean because he's another case altogether, Brian said. What about you and me? Do you think there's a chance for us to be together? I don't know. There is so much we need to discuss before we take the next step, I said. It was the first time I'd negotiated anything that had to do with my life. I wasn't going to rush into anything until I knew this man better. However, I thought I knew everything I'd wanted, and finding out any more wouldn't change a thing. If you're leery about me, unsure of my intentions, ask someone in this town. No, maybe you shouldn't. I've been dating a lot, and I'm getting a divorce because I fooled around on my husband, but this is different. You're different. I've found someone I want to make a life with. How do I know what you're saying is true? I questioned, looking into his brown eyes sparkling in the moonlight. Doesn't your heart tell you that I mean it when I say that you're the one for me? Brian reached for my hands and kissed both palms. Give me a try. You won't regret it. Do you work in the mornings? No. What do you want me to do? I want you to have coffee with me early in the morning. You name the time. I can pick you up or you can meet me at Coffee, Tea, and Thee. I've heard about that place. Suddenly I remembered. I had a FaceTime interview, and my phone cut off in the middle of the interview, lol. They were paying much more than what I'm getting now. Brian's mouth inched up to the side in a chuckle. Small world. I'm part owner in that shop, and I've been looking for a reason to take some days off. I just want to sit with you, and have coffee or tea and talk to you. Tell me about your life, my life. Get to know each other. What do you say? Tell me something before we get to the house, and Sean is there waiting for you. I'll be there about 7 a.m., is that too early? I'm an early riser, and I see you are too. I think we will get along just fine. We can wake up together and have our coffee. Wait, Brian. I said I was going to have coffee with you, not marry you. You have your dream and I'll have mine. He leaned in and brushed a kiss across my mouth. And when we're sleeping in the same bed one day, and I hope soon, I'll show you how gentle I can be and how happy that you're mine. Brian painted a wonderful, colorful picture I wanted to walk into now, but I knew from my childhood that things weren't as simple and as happy ever after as he'd said, or the children's fairy tales had said, and they lived happily ever after.